There was a house in our neighborhood that stood out for a very special reason. Its interior was covered with incredible hand-painted murals created by the previous tenant. From the street, the house looked quite ordinary, a modest cottage with a simple pre-built facade that blended in with the other homes. But stepping inside, you entered a completely different world. Every wall was transformed into vibrant scenes from Disney movies and timeless fairy tales, all painstakingly painted by the woman who had lived there for decades. She was an artist at heart. In her younger years, she had been an art teacher, passionately sharing her skills with students. Later, she found a niche in running one of those popular paint and wine classes, a business she managed successfully before gradually retiring to focus on commissioned artwork and decorative furniture painting. Despite her artistic life, she was remarkably down-to-earth and kind to everyone around her. Even when I was less considerate, complaining about my truck's loud noise or speeding near her house, she remained patient and friendly. Over time, we worked through those small conflicts and became genuine friends. Her connection to the house was special. She had an informal agreement with the original landlord that the murals would remain untouched since they were inside and wouldn't affect the exterior or violate any regulations. She had called that place home since the mid-1980s, living there with the hope and promise that she would one day own it officially. However, fate took a harsh turn. The landlord passed away unexpectedly before any formal paperwork was signed to transfer ownership or protect her rights. His children inherited the property, and one of his sons visited the house accompanied by his daughter. They were captivated by the house and its unique charm. The son decided that his daughter should have this house. But since my neighbor lacked a formal lease or any legal claim, the new owners used the artwork on the walls as an excuse to challenge for occupancy and eventually evict her. She was devastated. That house was more than just walls and a roof. It was a living canvas of her passion and creativity. Losing it felt like losing a part of herself. But amid the heartbreak, she managed to find a new property in another state at the very last moment, a place with an entire art studio on the first floor, perfectly suited for her needs and dreams. Initially, she wanted to leave the old house as it was, with the cottage-style facade intact. But my friend, an experienced painter, offered to help restore the house Rebecca-style for free. He needed to master using powered paint sprayers and saw this as an opportunity. He also had a landscaping friend ready to assist with the yard and exterior. After some consideration, she agreed. We moved all her furniture into storage units, and my friend generously offered her to stay in his guest house without charge, under the condition that she would paint a mural on the living room wall there. She accepted, and within a week, the old house was cleared out. The second week was when the transformation began. The murals were sanded off from front to back. The walls, once rich with stories and colors, were reduced to blotches and faded patches. My friend, meticulous as always, masked everything that wasn't paintable and applied Kills primer with his new sprayer, a powerful tool that could cover a wall in just a few passes. After the primer dried, he used a palette we called the Rebecca Collection, a standard set of dull whites, grays, and muted tones common in flipped houses. The once vibrant and character-filled walls became lifeless white semi-gloss. The wood paneling, trims, switch and outlet covers, counters, and cabinets were all coated in a depressing shade of gray. Walking into the house after the makeover felt surreal. The soul and warmth were stripped away. The place looked dead, like a shell of its former self. It was difficult not to feel a pang of sadness standing there, imagining what had once been. The final project was the landscaping. The landscaping friend removed the cottage facade, as agreed, but instead of carefully preserving it, he tore it down and replaced everything with gravel, sand, and a single boulder for decoration. The charming entrance was lost, replaced by something cold and generic. This past weekend, while fixing some issues at an old neighbor's house, I stopped by the property. The house was still empty. I asked the neighbor if anyone had moved in yet. He mentioned that earlier in the week, some U-Haul trucks had arrived, but no one had unloaded anything, and that was the last anyone had seen of any activity there. I can only imagine the shock and disappointment the daughter must have felt when she saw her new house, once a vibrant, art-filled home, turned into a sterile, uninspired shell, devoid of the creativity and soul that made it truly special.